Imagine a creature that embodies insatiable hunger, a spirit that drives its victims to madness, and a legend that chills to the core. The Wendigo is a figure so terrifying that it has haunted the folklore of various indigenous cultures for centuries. A malevolent force that feeds on human flesh, it represents not only physical starvation but also moral corruption, greed, and the loss of humanity. In today's story, we'll count down the most chilling tales and facts about this eerie creature. From ancient beliefs to modern-day encounters, these stories will make you question what lurks in the wilderness. Stick with us, and by the end you'll understand why the Wendigo continues to send shivers down the spines of anyone who hears its name. At number 10, we start with the origin of the Wendigo legend. Rooted in the traditions of the Algonquin-speaking peoples, which include the Cree, Ojibwe, and other Native American groups in the northeastern part of North America, the Wendigo is said to be a malevolent spirit or a cursed human who has succumbed to cannibalism. According to these stories, the Wendigo's creation is tied to the violation of one of the most sacred taboos, the act of consuming human flesh. This taboo was seen as a fundamental way to maintain balance with nature, and those who broke it were believed to be transformed into this monstrous, insatiable creature. The legend, thus, is deeply tied to themes of survival, morality, and the spiritual consequences of greed. Coming in at number 9, we explore the physical description of the Wendigo. Depending on the version of the story, the creature is often depicted as a grotesque, emaciated humanoid figure with glowing eyes and a twisted face. Its skin is said to be stretched tight over its bones, giving it a skeletal, almost corpse-like appearance. In some variations, the Wendigo is described as having animalistic features, such as sharp claws and a mouth too large for its face. What is constant across all descriptions is the overpowering hunger that defines the Wendigo's existence. Its need to consume human flesh is endless, and it is this unyielding appetite that leads to its downfall, both physically and morally. Next, at number 8, we discuss how the Wendigo spirit is said to possess its victims. One of the most disturbing aspects of the Wendigo legend is the idea that it is not merely a creature that exists outside of human society. Instead, the Wendigo is a spirit that can possess individuals, particularly in moments of extreme hunger or isolation. Historically, there have been reports of people who were believed to be taken by the Wendigo spirit, driven to cannibalism due to starvation in the harsh winter months. These individuals were often found acting in a crazed, violent manner, leading to widespread fear and paranoia. The idea of a human being consumed by the Wendigo spirit raises questions about the nature of human survival and the consequences of losing one's humanity in extreme circumstances. Coming in at number 7, we look at the first documented Wendigo psychosis case, which occurred in the 19th century. Wendigo psychosis is a condition described in certain accounts where an individual becomes obsessed with the craving for human flesh and may even act upon this urge. In one of the earliest recorded cases, a man named Swift Runner was said to have fallen victim to this psychosis. During a brutal winter, Swift Runner and his family were stranded in the wilderness. Starvation set in, and when food became scarce, he killed and ate his family members. Swift Runner's actions were attributed to the Wendigo spirit, and he was eventually executed for the murders. The case drew attention to the psychological and societal implications of the Wendigo myth, offering a chilling glimpse into the human mind's potential descent into madness. At number 6, we explore the link between the Wendigo and isolation. The Wendigo legend often centers around the idea of isolation, whether physical or psychological. In many of the tales, the Wendigo emerges in places where humans are far removed from civilization, deep in the forests or on frozen lakes, isolated from the world around them. This isolation not only heightens the terror of the Wendigo, but also serves as a metaphor for the human mind when faced with desperation. Without support or connection, the Wendigo is seen as a manifestation of the worst aspects of human nature: greed, isolation, and the dark side of survival instincts. It's in these moments of solitude, stripped of the comforts of society, that the Wendigo is said to strike. Coming in at number 5, we dive into the Wendigo's influence on the wider world and its cultural significance. The legend of the Wendigo transcends Native American folklore and has influenced various aspects of popular culture. It has appeared in books, movies, and TV shows, often depicted as a monstrous creature that embodies human greed and the consequences of excess. Films like The Wendigo 2001 and the popular TV series Supernatural have helped to bring the myth into the mainstream. The Wendigo is often used as a metaphor for various societal issues, including overconsumption, environmental destruction, and the dangers of unchecked ambition. Its continued presence in modern storytelling speaks to the enduring power of this terrifying figure. Next, at number 4, we examine how the Wendigo has been used to explain real-world tragedies. Throughout history, there have been incidents that could be tied to the Wendigo myth, particularly those involving extreme situations of cannibalism. For example, during the 1878 to 1879 winter, a group of settlers in Canada became trapped in the wilderness due to a harsh winter, and some resorted to eating the bodies of the deceased. In cases like this, the Wendigo legend became a way to explain the horrific actions that people were driven to under extreme conditions. The Wendigo's association with these events highlights the deeply psychological and moral implications of human survival in life-threatening situations. At number 3, we explore the psychological and scientific explanations for the Wendigo myth. While many of the stories surrounding the Wendigo are rooted in mythology, there are psychological and medical explanations for what the Wendigo represents. One of the most widely accepted theories is that the Wendigo legend may be a form of collective cultural fear or an expression of anxiety about the dangers of cannibalism, especially in harsh, isolated environments. In cases of Wendigo psychosis, some researchers suggest that extreme hunger and isolation may have triggered a psychological breakdown where the victim lost their grip on reality and turned to cannibalism. This interpretation frames the Wendigo not as a supernatural creature but as a reflection of the human psyche's capacity for darkness in the face of extreme conditions. Coming in at number 2, we look at modern encounters with the Wendigo legend. Though the Wendigo myth is centuries old, there are still stories and sightings that persist in the present day. Some individuals claim to have encountered the creature deep in the forests of Canada and the northern United States. While these accounts are anecdotal and often unverified, they contribute to the ongoing fascination with the Wendigo. Whether they're supernatural experiences or the result of misidentifications, these modern encounters keep the legend alive, with many claiming to hear eerie, unnatural sounds or even see shadowy figures in the woods, sparking further intrigue and fear about the Wendigo's continued existence. Finally, at number 1, we come to the most terrifying aspect of the Wendigo: its symbolic meaning. The Wendigo is more than just a flesh-eating creature. It represents the dangers of unchecked greed, the moral corruption that can arise from survival instincts, and the psychological devastation of isolation. In many indigenous cultures, the Wendigo serves as a cautionary tale, a warning against letting hunger, whether for food, power, or anything else, overtake the human spirit. The Wendigo's insatiable desire to consume, no matter the cost, symbolizes the destructive nature of excess. In this way, the Wendigo is not just a myth but a powerful symbol that transcends cultures and continues to resonate with those who hear its story. As we reflect on the Wendigo's chilling legend, it's clear that this terrifying creature is not just a figment of folklore but a reflection of the darker side of human nature. The Wendigo's story has survived for centuries, and its lessons about greed, isolation, and survival continue to resonate today. Whether you believe in its supernatural powers or see it as a symbol of our own fears and weaknesses, the Wendigo remains one of the most terrifying and thought-provoking legends of all time. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the Wendigo and want to learn more about chilling legends, make sure to hit the subscribe button. And don't forget to let us know in the comments what you think. Could the Wendigo be real, or is it just a cautionary tale from the past?